Hi guys, I'm Catherine and welcome back to me making more questionable life choices about my hair. Today I'm going to be dyeing my streaks orange to celebrate Halloween because what else am I going to do to celebrate Halloween? Go to the bar with my mates? No. So don't worry if you like the blonde, I do too. I plan on keeping this hairstyle for a while, sorry mom. But the hair dye that I got, the reviews all said it faded really quickly, so I figured just the next time that I need to do my roots, it'll already have faded a decent amount by then and I'll make it future me's problem. I'll figure it out. If you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe, come hang out with me and my dumb decisions. I really sold myself there. Dyeing your hair with semi-permanent dye is so infinitely easier than bleaching it to get to be a certain color to make it blonde or whatever. But I'm just gonna share some tips that I usually use when I'm using semi-permanent dye. This is not my first rodeo whatsoever. So if your hair is already light enough that the dye will show up on it, you don't really need to do much preparation at all. The only preparation that I did was washed my hair with a clarifying shampoo, didn't use any conditioner or leave-in or anything. This is literally just my hair shampooed and done because it makes sure there's no buildup on your hair and it allows the semi-permanent dye to sneak in there real nicely. And I'm pulling back the parts of my hair that I'm not dyeing, but it really doesn't matter because as you can see, my natural hair is very dark. So the pigment is not going to show up on my hair where it is the natural color. So it doesn't matter if I get dye on it. It just is a waste if I get dye on it. But I'd rather have pieces of brown in it than have pieces of orange not get covered with the dye. And I'm gonna brush out these little streaks because I don't want any tangles or whatever. That keeps the dye from covering my hair evenly. And this prep work is also probably pretty unnecessary because I'm not planning on keeping this color for a while. Longevity is not one of my concerns when doing my hair right now, but just for the sake of education. I got this dye from Manic Panic. The shade is Psychedelic Sunset Orange, which sounds really, really fun. Basically, the difference between semi-permanent dye and demi-permanent or permanent dye is there's no developer needed. It's deposit only, so it's just pigment going straight over your hair. This is basically putting a conditioner with pigment in it over your hair. So it's not there's not a lot that can really go wrong. You can stain your hair permanently if you have pure blonde hair. I've read that people with blonde hair will dye their hair blue or purple and that permanently stains it. But other than that, not a whole lot to worry about when doing this. And I am gonna put on gloves, but if you don't have gloves, it's not really as big of a deal as if you don't have gloves when you're bleaching and toning your hair because you're not using harsh chemicals on your hand. Again, the worst that's gonna happen is you could stain your hands, which I don't really want my hands to be orange, but maybe you do. I'm just wearing a black shirt. Like I said, it's deposit only, so even if I get some on here, it's not gonna show up. And it's really cold in my room right now, so I didn't want to wear my usual hair dye shirt. But I just take little sections, take a little bit on my hand. You can use a brush for this, a dye brush, but I don't really see a point. And I just make sure I really, really coat my hair, really work it through, and we'll comb my hair once I get this whole section covered too. So once I have that all over my hair, I'm just gonna really gently comb through it. I don't know if it's necessarily good for your hair to comb through it when you have semi-permanent dye on it, but I don't think it's horrendous for it, and it helps make sure every single strand is coated. I'm just gonna kind of plop her over so I don't get dye all over my sweatshirt. And now for the other strand. And that's literally it. So with deposit only dye, like you can kind of just leave it on for as long as you want. Like nothing's gonna happen. I've even seen people will like wrap their head in plastic and sleep with semi-permanent dye on overnight. I don't really care how long this lasts. Like I want this to be orange on Halloween, and like after that, like I don't really care. I'm just gonna leave it on for like an hour. If I was really trying to make this color last, I would wrap my head in plastic, let the heat really like open up my cuticles so the deposit dye could get in there really nicely, but I'm not gonna do that right now. And then once it's like sat there for a while, I just go rinse my hair out in the shower. You really don't wanna use shampoo if you're trying to get your color to last, because that'll strip the color out. If you do use shampoo, make sure it's a sulfate-free shampoo. And I usually try to rinse with like cold water. I just kind of like rinse until the water is running clear. And yeah, that's it. So I'll be back tomorrow to show you what this looks like. And here's the final look. So this is the orange after one gentle wash. Just wanted to make sure I got all the excess dye out so I didn't stain my pillow. But I really like how this turned out. Very fun for Halloween. Hopefully the people at Trader Joe's enjoy my hair, because that's the only place I'm going to be going this weekend. So thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully this was informative if you're interested in using semi-permanent hair dye, semi-permanent dye on your hair.
Da Vinci?
Yeah, if you're doing anything for Halloween, be safe. Remember, we're still in the middle of the pandemic. If you haven't voted yet, please vote. Probably not for Donald Trump. And thank you so much. Love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one.